دلوقتي احنا البث المباشر دلوقتي كملناه للاسف هو قطع معلش ده دلوقتي تكمله البث المباشر. للاسف في بعض المشاكل.
Through the applications, you notice here with calendar, this construction with a common toolbar and type bar area that makes the window both more distinctly recognizable, but more importantly, maximizes the space available for content. And we can carry this over throughout the system to apps like Maps. Now we also have a new.
متوقع كمان إن يبقى تجديد لشبكات الملاحة وإن هي يشارك فيها كل دول الخليج العربي.
تمام.
Look for sidebar apps like Messages. You can see here some beautiful translucent material running top to bottom. And we extend that look to apps like FaceTime, Contacts, and Reminders. All in all, they come together for a gorgeous, more usable version of OS X, the best. Next, let's talk about Notification Center. Now, Notification Center on OS X, of course, adopts the dark, translucent material, size type, Yosemite. It also now, most importantly, has a new Today view.
بس احنا عندنا بعض المشاكل دلوقتي في البث المباشر بسبب بطء النت.
So you get an at-a-glance look at your calendar and more. But most importantly, you can extend the contents of Today View with the contents of widgets and apps that you've downloaded from the App Store. Just add them right in and set up the Today View.
زي ما احنا شايفين في الاو اس اكس الجديد اللي يلائم نظام الماك تم تغيير الايقونات بقت شبيهه بايقونات الاي اس 7. تم تغيير الهيدر، تم تغيير النوتيفيكيشن سنتر، وادوا يقدروا يعملوا برامج بالنسبه لمستخدمين الماك. سبوت لايت السيرش بيقولوا بيتحدثوا دلوقتي عن السيرش بتاع الماك ان هو بيدعم الابلكيشنز، الدوكيومنتس، الكونتاكتس، والكالندر، والميل، والمسجز، والديكشنري، والكالكوليتر، والسيستم بريفرنسز.
And find content local on your Mac. Yosemite is a great new interface. So when you click on magnifying glass, you get a big field right in the middle of the display.
انهم غيروا شكل السيرش، خلوه مختلف مع الشيء.
Just like that. Or type the name. Document, and you get great search results and an inline preview. It's really awesome. Now, in addition to these sources local to your Mac, we also tap into sources of information on the internet.
كمان زودوها كمان تدعم ويكيبيديا، تدعم المواقع على الانترنت. هو شكل طبعا أستاذ محمد، شكل التغيير ثوري جدا بالنسبة للماك، تغيير ثوري في الماك أو اس اكس.
أما أنا
غيروا أيقونة، غير شكل الماك من صفر.
Wikipedia, and even
جربت
maps,
أسحب
all at
كلمة
your
إن هي
fingertips.
مش
I'd
هيبقى
like to
في
give you a
تغيير
quick
كويس.
demo of the new UI in Yosemite now.
تمام. ديمو دي دلوقتي تجربة بيوريهم
All right,
دلوقتي الماك.
here's our first look at Yosemite Live. So we see our beautiful new typography in our menu.
بيوريهم، بيقول النظام شكله جميل، شكل المنيو شكلها مختلفة وشكلها ممتازة.
This gorgeous new dock and these beautiful icons. Let's launch an app. I'm going to start here with maps. And I want you to observe that as I scroll the content of the map, the way that the title bar actually reacts is
بتتحرك
color.
حسب يعني هي بتحس المابس دلوقتي مختلفة، بتحس تبدأ تعمل مالتي تاسكينج.
How
وهيصبح كمان في الملاحة العديد من الدول.
the calendar has a new look for a week view, but also all the day view. You notice here on day view, I have all of my meetings of the day right here on the left, and on the right, I get details about my appointments. So, for instance, here at 2 o'clock, we have our executive karaoke outing. That's going to be a big. Blast. So it's right there. You want to. So let's take a look now at messages. So messages, you see this use of the translucent sidebar material, how it reacts subtly to the background. It's really nice. And how the contents of the title bar react as I scroll.
وكمان هيبقى من المتوقع انه هيصبح في الملاحة العديد من الدول الجديدة والتي تتعرف من بين كل الدول العربية.
So of course I have my notifications here, but I also have today views. I can see my calendar at a glance, my weather. These are interactive, so I can click, get hourly weather, clock, interactive stocks, for instance, or even remind.
من الواضح ان في مشكلة كبيرة في بس.
هي المشكلة على ما أعتقد في سرعة النت.
Demo, and I forgot to do that, but it's too late now. So we'll send that one on its way. Now, of course, I can edit these widgets as well. Just click the edit button down here, and you see widgets available to me right here on the side. These are all from apps that can export widgets. So I'm just going to drag out calculator, add that in here.
يبدو إن في مشكلة حاليا. إن شاء الله هنحاول نحلها.
ويصبح في الملاحة العديد من الدول الجديدة والتي يتوقع أن يكون من بينها كل
لا
دول
بس احنا
الخليج
في
العربي.
تحديثات، مفيش التحديث دوت للأسف دول الخليج العربي.
هو دوت من المتوقع ان هو
ناقص الجماهيرية مش تمر، وهم عملوا تحديث للمابس، خلوا برنامج المابس بيتحرك، بيقولوا بيتبع بصمات أصابعك، الفينجر برينتس، يور فينجر برينتس. إن شاء الله الابل اللي احنا مستنيين منها، كل مستخدمين الايفون مستنيين منها طبعا الاي اس 8. الاي اس 8 هيبقى فيه ايه بيقولوا بالنسبه ل بالنسبه للاي اس 8، بيقولوا ان الاي اس 8 هيدعم في الايباد ميزه تقسيم الشاشه اللي بتشبه بعض الشيء ويندوز 8، لكن هتبقى فيها خواص اكبر بكتير. وفي ناس بيقولوا ان الجيم سنتر مش هيكون موجود فيه جيم سنتر. في ناس كتير تانيين مختلفين على نفس الموضوع دوت، بس احنا بنحاول
هو
باذن الله
احتمال
دلوقتي
ضعيف
نشوف المؤتمر.
احتمال ضعيف ان هم يشيلوا الجيم سنتر.
لا، هم قالوا ان هم مش هيشيلوا الجيم سنتر، هو ممكن ان هم يخلوه داخل العاب بس. دلوقتي على ما اعتقد بدأ بس يرجع تاني، كان عندنا مشكلة في النت. للأسف.
Window. All the content within that window, all its tabs stay private, and all of your other windows are unaffected. It's really handy. Now, Safari is great when it comes to standards.
سفاري دلوقتي هنستخدم الجدعان ويب جي ال والسبيدي والاندكس دي بي والجافا سكريبت بروميسز والسي اس اس شيبس والاتش تي ام ال 5.
This enables modern apps to efficiently stream video from sites like Netflix without a plugin, and the results are awesome. You get up to 2 hours longer battery life on a MacBook Air streaming Netflix, and that's for 1080p video. Now, Safari has been set the benchmark really for energy efficiency since Mavericks, and its lead here continues. When it comes to multi-tab browser energy efficiency, when it comes to the kind of UI manipulations that are typical in web apps, Safari is faster than ever. And how about JavaScript? We'll take the most complex kind of JavaScript that's typical, very rich web applications. Well, Safari now has a 4th-tier LLVM-based optimized JavaScript compiler that is the fastest of any major browser. And when it comes to typical website JavaScript, Safari is in a league of its own. So that is Safari. And to give you a quick demo, I'd like to bring up Brian Kroll to the stage. Let's give him a big welcome. Brian.
Thanks, Craig. I'm really happy to be here today. So I'm just going to dive right into Safari. Here we go.
دلوقتي يعني دي دلوقتي سفاري تجربة سفاري.
Really great. And when you go to a website, you can really appreciate the new design. It's simpler and it's even more powerful. I can open up the sidebar really easily to get at my bookmarks, my reading list, as well as my shared links. And when I click into the search field, I get instant access to all my favorite sites. It's really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and type in a search for Ansel Adams. There we go. And if I hit return, since Ansel Adams is a common search term, I get this new spotlight suggestion there at the top. It has a snippet of information from Wikipedia. I can read it there, or if I'd like, I can go ahead and see the entire article right on the Wikipedia site. It's super convenient. Now, if you use tabs, you're going to love this. Now, no matter how many I can smoothly scroll through them to get at any of that tab I'm looking for. It's really nice. So now, sometimes I want to see my tabs. So I can go ahead and do this, and I'll click on the new tab view button. And there you go. A beautiful bird's eye view of all my open tabs. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one here. It's a photo blog with a bunch of pictures of Yosemite, and there's a couple good ones of El Capitan down below. So I'll find them there, El Capitan. And then I'm going to choose this one. I want to share it with Fred so we get the high-res image. Now sharing couldn't be easier in Safari. I just simply click on the share button here, and now I can use the new recent recipients feature to address it to Craig. Here we go. And just one click, I'm ready to send it. It's that easy. So, but before I send it, I'm going to add my 2 cents to this. So I can go here. We have just right feature called markup. Now with markup, I can edit this image without ever even emailing. It's really great. So what I'm going to do is annotate this image with a nice magnifying glass, the loop. So as I move it around, you can see that it magnifies everything underneath it. So I'm going to place it right here. And it turns out
بيقولوا إن الزوم الجديد في الماك ده بيساعد جدا جميع الناس.
I'm going to zoom in a little more so you can see it better. Here we go. So I can zoom nicely and place it here. Now, I want to point this out to Craig in the mail. And I can use my trackpad to draw on the image. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an arrow here. There we go. And notice, we're not smart enough to recognize the arrow and make it really pretty. So now it's really easy to add a comment. So check out the climbers. There we go. Now I can have a little fun with this. So I'm going to go ahead and create a cartoon bubble. Okay. Not so good at drawing, but markup's going to help me. There we go. So luckily it can clean up. It's better than I am. So now I can add a caption. And so I think I'm going to appeal to the inner developer in all of us. I'm going to type in, I hope the rope is, wait for it, multi-threaded. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've done enough to this picture. Time to go. So now it's ready for me to mail, and I can just put that. So that's how easy it is to mark up an image in Mail. So those are a couple of great new features in Safari and Mail. Thank you.
Not with the parallel programming joke. You will not see that. We believe you should be able to use the right device at the moment. Maybe your phone when you're on the go. Your iPad when you want to kick back on the couch. Maybe your Mac. You're trying to get some work done. But we also want the transitions between these moments to be absolutely as natural and seamless as possible. Now, our continuity features start with something simple. Now, AirDrop works between iOS and the Mac. Woo! It's really convenient. Your devices around you, in proximity, are aware of each other. This looks in the other direction as well. So, let's say you're composing an email on your phone, and you walk up to your Mac. Well, your Mac will notice what you're doing and prompt you right on the dock. You click it, and you can pick up finishing that message right on your Mac. Woo! Now, we've been able to take this same proximity awareness and make the process of creating a hotspot easier than ever before. So now, if you're using your Mac and you're away from the network, but your phone is nearby, when you go to your Wi-Fi menu, your Mac, actually without any configuration ever having been done on your phone, sees your phone and prompts you, so you click it, and it automatically sets up a hotspot. You never type a password, and you're on the network that easily. And this works even if your phone is across the room sitting in a handbag. You just have to touch it. Now, the next area we really wanted to handle was SMS. Now, we all love iMessage. We continue the conversation seamlessly from device to device. But then we have these green bubble friends. And You know, they have inferior devices, and they insist on sending us messages, and we don't want to hold it against them. But the problem is that those messages don't show up on our other devices until now. Because now, the phone is able to act as a relay to automatically and transparently send your messages between devices. Now, believe it or not, we're able to do the same thing with phone calls. So now, when you receive a phone call, your Mac gives you caller ID, and you can even accept the call and use your Mac as a speakerphone. And believe it or not, this works even for phone. Is across the house in a charger. You never have to miss a call. Well, now that your Mac is all phone savvy, it's also a great way to dial the phone. So if you're in contacts and you want to dial a number, you can do it right there. And even on a web page, see a number you want to call, you can call it right from your Mac. So I want to give So if you're up for it, I'd love you to get down. All right, so let's check out continuity. We're going to start with handoff. Let's pick up my iPhone here. And I was composing an email about our karaoke night. Does anyone want to? You know, I'm on my Mac, so let's use my Mac here. And you notice my Mac actually is aware that I was using my phone. So with a click, I bring up that message. It's right where I left off. Does anyone want to go? And you know, to give these people some inspiration about what they might be able to experience at karaoke night, just summon a picture from last year's karaoke event. Now that ought to get them going. So I'll send that one on its way. Now, of course, this works in the other direction. It looks like Andreas is up for some karaoke. And he sent me a URL to a good place to go for karaoke, so I can pull that up here. Now, if I want to show this page to a friend, maybe pick up my iPad, you notice as I look at my iPad, let's put that up on the screen. There at the bottom is Safari. I just click up, and it takes me right to where I left off. It's really amazing. Next up, well, phone calling. Hold on one second. Well, this is from my mom. Now, she surely wants to grill me about the newest 4-tier LLVM compiler and Safari. This is not the right time. I mean, I'd love to hear from her. I'm sorry. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. But this is my space. But you know, I would like to show you how we can make phone calls. And so I can dial from web pages. So for instance, if I wanted to go dial a phone number, like this one right here, I could just select and hit it.
أستاذ محمد حسن هو دلوقتي
Option to call right here inside of Safari.
أستاذ محمد حسن هو الفيديو ظاهر دلوقتي قدامك.
To a new Apple employee that's joining us, something we do from time to time. So we just bring up this. Here we go. A little welcome call. Let's give them a WWDC welcome. So let's have my Mac dial. Do you mind? I talk to people like that all the time, of course. Very easy. Wow. Hey, it's Craig Rodriguez here.
Hey, this is Trey.
Hey, doctor, you're on speakerphone via my Mac with over 6,000 amazing developers here at WWDC. We all want to welcome you to Apple.
Thanks for the audience. I guess creating such amazing apps.
Yeah, they have created some amazing apps.
I'm glad you called me here. It's pretty early, but I'm so sure of course.
If you want to meet Jim in the office, it'd be about 4:30. But I think Orientation, new employee orientation starts at 9. So, and you don't want to miss the free T-shirt. So I'd shoot for 9.
Sounds good. I can't wait to get to work. Thanks for that.
Well, Dre, it's been great chatting with you. I'll see you around campus.
Thanks, Greg. Awesome.
All right, bye. That's continuity. So Yosemite, beautiful new design with notification center with the new today view.
استاذ حسن هو دلوقتي الصوت ظاهر تمام، الصورة ظاهرة تمام.
Fast search and access to all kinds of great sources of information on the internet. A new iCloud Drive, mail with great new features, Safari, fast.
استاذ احمد حسن هي الصورة دلوقتي ظاهرة تمام؟
لا حاليا عندي مش ظاهرة كويس.
It's a wonderful new release.
الظاهرة؟
And it's available to you developers here today.
طب كده اهوت.
Now everyone else, and believe it or not,
تقريبا المشكلة
it will be
حصلت
free.
عندي أنا.
Now, we're doing something a little unusual this summer as well, which is we're having a public beta
أنا
program.
كده جايب عندي
So,
الشاشة
if
بتاعت
you're a
حضرتك.
non-developer
أي حد
and you want to
يستخدمه.
help us improve
ايوه كده تمام كده اهوت.
you can sign up on the web and
كده اهوت تمام. يعني
Yosemite betas throughout the summer.
دلوقتي حضرتك كده اهوت الفيديو ظاهر يعني ولا
I
لا؟
think you're going to love it. I hand it back to Tim. Thank you.
الفيديو ظاهر بس جايب الشاشة بتاعتك كلها.
ايوه كده تمام. انا عايز بس اتاكد. بس تيم كوك ظهر من جديد دلوقتي تيم كوك دلوقتي كل ده قبل كده بيتكلموا عن الماك او 6، دلوقتي هيتكلموا عن الاي او اس 8. هي المؤتمر اللي احنا منتظرينه من زمان، الاي اس 8 على الابواب زي ما بتقول.
iOS device. And each of the categories of devices has set its own significant sales record in the past year. iPod Touch has passed 100 million units. iPad has passed 200 million units.
100 مليون ايبود اتباع و200 مليون ايباد اتباع، 500 مليون ايفون اتباع.
But what's even more impressive is how many new customers to Apple that iOS
ايه الحاجة الجديدة لابل في السنة الأخيرة؟
over 130 million customers.
أكتر من 130 مليون مستخدم جديد.
Apple device.
130 مليون جهاز جديد لسه الناس أول مرة يشتروه.
Now, many of these customers were switchers from Android.
دلوقتي نقارن بالأندرويد.
لا
Bought an Android
هما دلوقتي
phone,
انتقلوا من الأندرويد للآيفون.
but sought a better experience. And decided to check out iPhone and iOS. Nearly half of our customers in China in the past 6 months switched from Android to iPhone. This is incredible. And of course, that better experience is our devices and iOS. And iOS 7 took that experience to even higher levels. The customer sat with iOS 7 is really off the charts. Changeable recently measured it at 96%. These are customer sat rates.
99% نسبة الرضا عن iOS 7.
Really enormous. Now, one of the reasons why customers say they love iOS is that we make available our software updates for the OS available to as many customers as possible. And if you look at what has happened with iOS 7, our latest release,
iOS 7
9 out of 10
89% من إجمالي الاي اس في العالم كله.
running our latest operating system. This is in stark contrast to Android.
مقارنة بالاندرويد 9% بس اكيد كانت احدث نسخة.
Less than 1 out of 10 of your customers are on their latest software. And if you looked at a broader group, over a third of their customers are running a version of Android from 4 years ago. That's like ancient history. Now, that means that these customers are not getting great features. They're not able to run your latest apps. And they don't get security updates that they may need to stay safe. And this is particularly important for Android, which dominates the mobile malware market. No wonder experts are saying things like this. Android fragmentation is turning devices into a toxic hell stew of vulnerabilities. Now, fortunately, iOS hasn't had these kind of issues because we do everything we can to make our updates available to as many people as possible. So we could not be happier with iOS 7 and the momentum of iOS devices, but we are not standing still. Today we're announcing iOS 8.
iOS 8.
And iOS 8 is a giant release, and it's really 2 stories, not one. It has
قصتين مش قصة واحدة بس.
But it also has incredible developer features, so you can extend your experience and build apps that you couldn't do before.
الاي سي اصلا في
We'd like
السيستم
to get
اصلا بكتير في
started with
البرمجة.
describing it. We're talking about the in-user features. And to do that, I'd like to bring Craig back up to the stage. Craig. I missed you guys. So, let's talk about iOS 8. Now, iOS 8, of course, builds on the design of iOS 7, with enhancements for both iPhone and iPad. Let's start with the phone. Now, in iOS 8, we've refined Notification Center. But what I really love are our new interactive notifications. So now, if you get a message like this, just pull down and you can reply. And this works for all kinds of notifications. If you get a calendar event, for instance, just pull down and respond. And it works on the lock screen. So you can just swipe across the lock screen, get those action buttons tapped. We gave you quick double tap access to get at your recent apps. Well, now you can also use the same double tap to get at the people you communicate with most frequently. It's really handy. And in iOS 7, we introduced this great tab view in Safari. Well, we're bringing a great tab view to iPad as well, bird's eye view of all of your tabs. And Safari also picks up the sidebar that we love in Yosemite, with access to your bookmarks, your readings, and your shared links. And we've made managing your mail easier than ever before. So now if you're reading a message, you want to remember to get back to it, so you're going to mark it unread, we can do that with just a single gesture. And if you want to flag a message, you can just pull across as a flag option, but if you pull all the way across, you can delete with just a gesture. The piece I love the best is what we found with composing messages. You ever found yourself composing an email, and then you really wish like you could get something else in your inbox, maybe for that reply? Well, now you can. Just swipe that message down, and you have access to the rest of your mail. So I'd like to give you a demo of some of these great iOS 8 enhancements now.
دي من الاي
Here we are
سي.
on our iOS 8 lock screen. And if I receive a notification, looks like I happen to get one just right then, I can
Swipe across. You see I have actions. I can accept or decline this meeting right here. And of course, I'm going to use the device. I mean, here maybe playing some music here on iTunes Radio. I might get a notification. And if I do get a notification, I can just swipe down on it too. So here's one. Just swipe down. Now I get access to my keyboard. I can type right there. Now this one's great for third-party apps as well. So for instance, looks like I got tagged on Facebook. I can like it right here with an actionable notification. And sometimes you receive notifications that you just really don't want to deal with right now, and you just flick those away like that. That's sort of handy. Now, we've made getting at people easier than ever before, so I just double tap my home button to have all the people I most recently communicated with. I swipe to the side, and I have access to all my favorites. If I tap on one, I have controls here to give them a phone call, iMessage them, or even FaceTime right here. Just a double tap on the home button. It's really handy. Now I want to show you some of the enhancements we have made to Mail. Let's go take a look at an iPad actually this time. So here we are on iPad. I'm going to launch Mail. Now I have a number of unread messages here, so let's work our way through them. Here's a message from Open Table with a dinner appointment, and you notice that the reservation is actually called out right here on the top. Mail has actually given me an intelligent suggestion here to add to my calendar. I can tap to add, and just like this, it prompts me to fill out and add an event to my calendar. That's really cool. Now, sometimes you get a message like this where you're going to have to do some thinking about it, maybe get back to it later. Well, now with just a single swipe, I can mark it as unread. It's really cool. You can also flag really easily. So there's a message I want to flag, just flick it across, and flag. Here's a nice message. I don't know who this fellow is, but he says, great collaboration. You and Johnny have really come together really well. Let's take a look at that one. Oh, dear God. This would be a good time to demonstrate our quick delete feature. I can drag all the way across and delete at a glance. I'm certain that message won't haunt me on the internet for years to come. So let's talk about composing. I got a message here from a friend who's visiting in town. He's looking for a good restaurant, so I'll start replying to this message. And I'll say, let's see, check out. And then, actually I got a good recommendation from another friend here in my inbox. I'd like to get to that now. Well, I can just swipe this draft down like this. Go right into another place, another message in my inbox. Tap out a selection. That looks like exactly what I want to send him, so I'll just copy that. And now with a tap at the bottom, I restore my draft, just like that. I can paste and send it on its way. I think we're all going to love doing Mail this way. That's a quick look. So let's talk about Spotlight. Now, of course, Spotlight's a super convenient way of searching your device. You just pull down on your home screen, and you can execute these searches. Find things like launching apps, find an email message. But now, with those same things we showed you in Yosemite, Spotlight suggestions, you can get it so much more. You can search for apps and find matches of apps that you don't yet have on the App Store. You can search for points of interest and get Wikipedia entries and directions. You can search for news, search for restaurants, songs, not just in your own library, but also on iTunes. And when you search for a movie, you can get results both for theaters nearby, as well as content available for streaming. And when you search inside of Safari, in addition to your great Google search suggestions, you can also get a suggestion at a glance for the answer you're looking for right from Spotlight suggestions. So that is the new Spotlight. Next, the keyboard, and the technology we call QuickType. Oh. So prior to iPhone, this was the state of the art in smartphone type. Changed all of that with the introduction of touch, and we've been able to do so much more, like access to special characters, or alternate character sets, special keyboard layouts, even handwriting and dictation. But underlying it all have been the language models under autocorrect. Well, now, in iOS 8, QuickType supports
predictive typing suggestions. So as you type, you get suggestions for the next words you might want to type. You can tap things out faster than ever before. And it's incredibly smart. So it's context sensitive. For instance, in messages, if someone asks you, do you want to go for dinner or a movie? It's going to suggest dinner or a movie. And it's personalized. It learns how you type to different people in different apps. So maybe you're communicating with a coworker, and it's going to say, well, the meeting was canceled, rescheduled, moved. These are kind of formal terms. But now if you're communicating with someone else where you have a different communication style, you might get, the meeting was epic, awesome, or a snoozer, because it learns how you type. And when it does so in a way that's always protecting your privacy. All that learning is done local to the device, and none of your keystrokes leave the device. Now, QuickType has great language models for all of these languages. So I think we're all going to be typing a whole lot faster. Next, of course, continuity. You get all the great continuity features. So now, on your iPad, you can pick up where you left off on your iPhone. You can set up an instant hotspot with no configuration on your iPad. You can receive your messages on your iPad, and when you receive a call from someone going like this, you can pick it up right on your iPad. It's really great. And that's continuity. Next up, messages. So messages is the most frequently used app on iOS. And on iOS 8, it's better than ever. So when it comes to group messaging, we have some great enhancements. You can now name your threads. You can add or remove people from a conversation underway. And if you've ever been on one of those noisy threads that just keeps buzzing in your pocket, you can do not disturb on a per thread level, and you can choose when to leave the thread. This is pretty important. Now, you also can share your location with people in a conversation, and if they've shared their location with you, you can see it from right within inside messages. And you also have a really great at-a-glance view of all of the pictures and attachments that are shared on any thread. But one feature that I really love is our new tap to talk. You just hold your finger down on the microphone button, and then you can just swipe up with your finger when you're done talking and send what you said. And it's really great for video messaging as well. So to give you a quick demo of the all-new messages, I'd like to bring up Greg Joswick to the stage. Jos?
Thank you, Craig. It's fun to be up here to be the first one to show you what a rich and powerful platform for communication messages has become. So let's get right into it. I've got a message here waiting from my friend and coworker, Kim Pratt. So I can just slide that, of course, as usual, goes right into my messages. What I see here is I have a thread between me, Kim, and Craig. But what I have that's new in the upper right-hand corner is this details button. If I tap it, it gives me all kinds of information about participants and message. For one, Craig and Kim decided to share the location with me. So Craig, of course, is up here with us in San Francisco, while Kim is working hard back in Cupertino. Thanks, Kim, for that. One of the things I can do is add context. I can add people to this conversation as we go. But I can also choose to share my location. So if I just tap share my location, I can choose to share my location for an hour, for the rest of the day, or I can keep sharing it until I stop somewhere in the future. Well, what's really convenient is this do not disturb button. Many times you've been in one of those super chatty group conversations that your phone is just continuing to buzz over and over. Well, now I can just choose to do not disturb that particular thread and not get my phone buzzing. So I'm going to find that useful with Kim and Craig, I know that for sure. Or I can even leave this conversation with just a single tap. What's also convenient is the fact that I have all the attachments, all the photos from this conversation all in one place. So they still appear in line in the thread, but now instead of trying to find that picture by scrolling, they all come in one place here in the thread. So very, very convenient. So let's go back to the conversation. Kim asked me how it's going. Well, I have lots of ways to reply to her. I can tap out just a few taps and use my predictive keyboard and a message. But it's even cooler that I can now do
مقطع خير.
Hey Kim, I'm just hanging out here with about 6,000 of our closest friends, having a good time while Craig takes a much-deserved break backstage. Slide up, super easy. And I can do the same thing with a video message or even with a selfie. So I'm going to dare a selfie here.
Selfie.
Hold down the camera button. Not my best look. Let's see what to say about that. So I just see an audio message on cam. All I have to do is tap the play button to get the message.
Impressive, Jaws. You've totally mastered the duck face selfie.
Well, I'm glad she likes it. So it's super duper easy to do this sort of thing. You notice that it said would expire in a couple minutes because you don't want to have to clean these up. Audio and video messages can take up space, so it's self-destruct unless you choose to keep them. What's this? So Craig should be backstage, but he apparently sent me a message that looks important, so he don't mind him to play it back. And play it back in line, even if it's a good message here.
Josh, we've got a serious situation developing back here. Right, I've got to do something. I've got. Josh, I need you guys more time.
Needless to say, hair like that doesn't come easy. So while he's done with this crisis backstage, oh look, I've actually got an audio message from him. Now, what's really cool is I can actually listen to audio messages and reply to them from the lock screen simply by raising the iPhone to my ear.
Assistant team back here. I'm good to go, so wrap it up whenever you're ready.
And that's that easy to listen to a message, and I can reply to it the same way. Craig, it's good to hear that you survived the great hair crisis in 2014. I'll get things wrapped up here, and we'll get the show back to you. Lower it, and the message is sent. Super easy. So that's the All Messages app. Super easy, super powerful. Send a message with just a swipe, or even just by raising it to your ear. So thank you, everybody.
Okay. So, next up, iCloud Drive. So, of course, iCloud documents work great across a single app on your iOS devices. But now, with iCloud Drive, you also have a great way to work across applications. So say you're in an app here, like Sketchbook. You can bring up your iCloud Drive panel and open documents directly from other applications, like a compatible document inside of GoodReader. And when you open it up and in that document, in that application, and edit it, those edits are saved right back to their original location, so you don't end up with all of these different versions and copy problems. Now, of course, you also have access to all of those documents on your Mac and on Windows as well. So that's iCloud Drive. Next up, something you weren't expecting from me, Enterprise. And it turns out that iOS, yeah, I've got one Enterprise guy over there. So iOS is a huge hit in the enterprise. In fact, 98% of the Fortune 500 uses iOS. We're going to get, and it's in part because of these great iOS-tailored applications. But it's also because of the amazing array of technologies, both technologies that apply to all of us in protecting our privacy and security, but also enterprise manageability features that we've added to iOS over the years. Now, one of them that we just released in the last few months, I think, is emblematic of our philosophy of the enterprise, and that's the device enrollment program. Now, traditionally, if you go to work at a company and they want to give you a device, they actually have to take the device they give you, rip it out of its box, connect it to some PC, image it with software to configure. It's a big pain. But now with the device enrollment program, you can actually get your iPad or iPhone in its original shrink wrap box, And when you open it up, it'll automatically configure itself for your enterprise, setting up all of your mail and getting your mail messages, automatically setting up your calendar, and even downloading all your enterprise apps. It's that simple. Well, now in iOS 8, we continue our focus on security, productivity, and management. iOS 8 has expanded data protection, so you get passcode protection of all the major data types, including third-party apps. We have per-message SMI, and we have a great productivity feature I think we're all going to like, called VIP threads. So now, if there's a thread you're on or a message you send, and you want there's a reply on that thread, you can get that with just a tap. Now we also have automatic reply for Exchange, for Out of Office, free busy information in Calendar, and we support third-party enterprise document providers in addition to iCloud, integrated right into iCloud-capable applications. Now we also improve our management. Yes, the enterprise guy back there. So we also extend our management to PDFs, and this is, of course, especially valuable for education. So those are just a few features for enterprise. Now, something that we all care a lot about, health. So developers have created a vast array of devices and accompanying applications. Everything from monitoring your activity level, to your heart rate, to your weight, and chronic medical conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes. But up to now, the information gathered by those applications lives in silos. You can't get a single comprehensive picture of your health situation. But now you can with HealthKit. HealthKit provides a single place that applications can contribute to a composite profile of your activity and health. And HealthKit comes with a corresponding application, Health. And with Health, you can monitor all of your metrics that you're most interested in your activity. But not just that. You can use third-party applications. Now, we carefully protect your privacy, so you have total control over which applications have access to which part of your healthcare information. But you can, for instance, provide different activity, weight, heart rate information to the Nike app. And Nike is working to integrate HealthKit, so they use that information to help you in your pursuit of your personalized fitness goals. Now, we're also working with the Mayo Clinic, innovators in healthcare. And with their integration with HealthKit, they're going to be able, that when a patient takes, let's say, a blood pressure reading, HealthKit automatically notifies their app, and their app is automatically able to check whether that reading is within that patient's personalized healthcare parameters, thresholds. And if not, it can contact the hospital proactively, notify a doctor, and that doctor can reach back to that patient, providing more timely care. Now, we think this is going to be really important for healthcare, and the CEO of the Mayo Clinic agrees. He says that we believe Apple's HealthKit will revolutionize the health industry, how the health industry interacts with people. We're proud to be at the forefront of this innovative technology with the Mayo Clinic app. We agree. Now, we're also working with leaders in healthcare applications like Epic Systems. Now, they provide the technology that enables hospitals serving over 100 million Americans. And so now with their integration with HealthKit, patients at these leading institutions will be able to get closer in sharing their information with their doctors. And that is health. Next up, family sharing. It's the easy way to share what's important. Now, when I was a kid, the refrigerator was the center of family sharing. Our refrigerator looked just like this, except the kid had gray hair. But we've now in iOS made it that easy to set up your family on their iOS devices. And once you've set up your family as a family unit, you automatically get to share photos with shared photo stream, to share calendars with your family, to share a shared reminder list. and to automatically configure things like, with permission, find my friends, and find your kids' devices, which is something I do about every other day. It's really handy. Now, of course, we're also used to, in the home, sharing physical media. But increasingly, our media is in the form of songs from iTunes, movies, books, and apps. Well, now, with family sharing, you can get it not just your purchases, but the purchases of all the members of your family. You just click right through and download. And this is for up to 6 family members who all share the same credit card. And it works great for kids as well. And not just because they can make purchases on your credit card. But in fact, because when they do make a purchase, they get prompted to ask you for permission. And you automatically get messaged on your device. And that's family sharing. Next, photos. We all take a lot of photos, increasingly with our iPhones. And we share them with whatever device we have handy. Well, now, we're bringing together photos with iCloud so that every photo you take are available to you on all of your devices. We're not only preserving the common organization and edits you do to all of your photos for your consistent iCloud photo library, but your device actually has access to more photos in the cloud than it can physically store locally. So you can get at them all, wherever you are. Now, of course, you have this many photos. You want great search. And so we now in iOS 8 Photos, we give you great search suggestions, for instance, of locations, photos taken near where you are right now, photos taken a year ago today, photos taken in your home. But we also give you search. And so that search lets you match on things like location, time, and also on albums that you've set up. Now, we also help you perfect your photos with great new smart editing controls. So we have special smart controls for light and color, and also for things like auto straightening and cropping. I'd like to give you a demo of our new Photos app now. All right, let's take a look at photos. So here I am in my large cloud photo collection. I have great search here. So I have all my suggestions, but I can also start typing. And you notice I get matches on location and time period, but also on album. So here I have Beach Day with Mandy. I can tap right in there, look through these nice photos. Let's take a look. Those are some good ones. Now, that's a photo that I think has potential. It's really quite dark and kind of washed out. Unfortunately, we have these great smart editing controls that I can use to fix it up. So I'm going to bring up our levels. And you notice I have levels for light and color down there as well. I'm going to tap on light, and I get this great smart lighting. Now I can just drag this across like this, and it lightens up the photo really nicely. So dial that in just the way I want. What's happening under the hood is really amazing. You notice that to achieve the lightning effect, it brought brightness and contrast up, exposure and highlights down, and shadows up based on detailed image analysis of what would achieve that effect. Now I can go in and I can manually try to tweak those parameters. I have that level of control, but I don't need to because it does such a great job. And I also have that control for color. So I can just drive up the color, for instance, bring out the sky and the skin tones. And I'll look at the difference of what we've been able to achieve before, after. It's really awesome. Now what's really great is that my edits, of course, immediately went up to my cloud photo library, and so they're available to all my devices. So let's take a look at my iPad. So here's my iPad. Now I'm going to go into my favorites album. And we notice that right now in favorites, I don't have that picture because I didn't favorite it. But now that I've made those nice edits, the picture's looking great. I think I'll make it one of my favorites. I'll just tap on my iPhone on the little heart. And you notice that it appears automatically here on my iPad. So I can go into that photo right here. Now we have those same editing controls tailored for iPad. So I'm going to go in and do a crop, and do a kind of extreme close-up crop here like this. Hit done. And of course these changes are going to go up live to my iCloud photo library, and they go right across to my phone. So of course you may be wondering, what about the Mac? Well, good news, we are working on a new grounds-up photo solution for the Mac, built with iCloud in mind. Now it's going to be shipping early next year, but I'd like to give you a sneak peek now. All right. So let's take a look at photos on the Mac. So you see I get beautiful, buttery scrolling here. I have my moments right here. I can pinch out if I want from moments to collections, all the way out to years. I can scrub through my photos like this, even in year view. If I find a photo I like, just let go and zoom right in. You watch as I magnify this photo, the interplay with the title bar. It's really gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and browse through these a little bit. Now here's a photo that looks really like it's got some potential, but it could use some brightening up. You can have these same kinds of adjustments. You notice here, I have these light and color meters. Well, I can just close these controls so we can watch what happens in real time as I make the lighting adjustment. And notice how some of these are going up and some are going down to create this effect. It's really great. I can do the same with color. Let's boost the color. Bring out the sky, bring out the skin tones. And it's that easy, the new Photos app, to really create beautiful images. And that's a quick preview of photos coming to Yosemite in the future, and to the new photo solution with iCloud Photo Library coming with iOS 8. So now in iOS 8, you get all your photos in your organization across your iOS devices, and soon with your Mac and via the web, Windows as well. Now this is all your photos and also your videos. And these are in their original format and their full resolution. Now this uses your iCloud storage, so your first 5 gigs are free. And we have some great new affordable plans for just 99 cents a month, and 200 gigs for $3.99. So we can all afford to get all our photos safely up in the cloud. That is Photos. So the great set of major features coming to iOS, but of course, there's always a whole lot more than I have time to talk about here. I do want to hit on just 2 more quickly, and one is Siri. Now, we have, if you take your phone and you plug it in, for instance, in the car, you can say, "Hey Siri," and start talking to Siri without having to even touch your phone. And we have song recognition with Shazam. So now, if you just start up Siri and there's a song playing around you, it'll tell you what it is. And you can even purchase it right there from within Siri. Siri also now supports streaming voice recognition. So as you talk, you can see what it's recognizing. It's more responsive than ever. And we have support for 22 new dictation languages. Finally, in China, we now have greatly improved maps with vector-based maps and turn-by-turn directions. We also have support for a lunar calendar, which is great for holidays and birthdays, improved Chinese predictive input, and improved weather data. So that is a look. So that's a look at the consumer part of iOS 8. To tell you the other half of the story, I'm going to hand it back to Tim. Thanks.
Thanks, Brad.
amazing new features. And if we ended the keynote now, it would be a giant release. But there is a lot more. The second part of the story is what iOS 8 provides for developers and extending your capability to make even more incredible apps and apps you could not create before. Now, all of these apps are delivered via the App Store. The App Store now has more than 1.2 million of your apps on it. This is a phenomenal number, and the marketplace around these apps is unbelievable. 300 million people visit the App Store every week. And these people aren't just browsing, they are downloading. They've now downloaded over 75 billion apps. These are mind-blowing numbers. Now, what we want to do is make the App Store even better. And so we're rolling out a number of new features on the store. Starting with, we're adding an Explore tab to help users find the app they're looking for more. So you can browse through categories and subcategories. We're adding top trending searches to make search even better. It's great to see WWDC. We're making finding your search even better by making it faster by adding a continuous scrolling list. We're adding related searches to make it easier to find exactly the app you're looking for. And with a new Editor's Choice logo, users can find the best apps. Also, for the first time, we're giving the developers the capability to form app bundles. So users can buy multiple apps. I do read your email. So users can buy multiple apps at a discounted price with just one tap. Also, we're introducing app previews. So developers can make short videos. So developers can make short videos of some great features, and the users can make certain it's an app that they want. We're also introducing for the first time today a new service, a new beta test service called Test Life. Developers can invite users to beta test their app and get the results right in Test Life. And it's all free. Now, there are many more features of the App Store. You hear about them through the week and in the afternoon session. But we are really investing a ton in the App Store. It is a huge release. Everything will be available in the fall. Now that brings us to the SDK. And for those of you that are not developers, the SDK is a software development kit that enables developers to make all of the amazing apps. This release is the biggest release since the launch of the App Store. And it will give developers the capabilities and tools to make things they haven't dreamed of and to push to a whole new level. And to tell you all about the SDK, I want to invite my colleague Superman back to the stage.
This is really Vern's training that Jimmy's doing to me.
So, with this year's SDK, the team has done just an unreal job with over 4,000 new developer APIs. Most profound, and that's extensibility. So with extensibility, applications from the App Store will be able to extend the system and offer services to other apps. Now, of course, one of the reasons we're all so comfortable installing so many apps from the App Store are iOS's security model. Apps are isolated inside of sandboxes so they can access their own data, but can't get at your personal information or mess with other apps without your permissions. Well, to handle extensibility in an iOS way, we wanted to build on the same sandboxing model. So now extensions live inside an application's own sandbox with access to its own data, but other applications can reach out by way of iOS's security mechanisms, talk to that extension can even project UI right back into the originating app. Now this enables some great things. For instance, in addition to the system's built-in sharing options, an app like Pinterest can offer a share sheet to Safari. And if you look at actions, for instance, an app like Bing could offer translation right inside of Safari, accessing the web pages, web content right there. Now we're also supporting photo filters inside of Photos and enabling third parties to define their own document providers that work with any iCloud Drive-enabled application. Finally, we're enabling third-party apps to define widgets that can now go in Notification Center. I think it feels like time for a demo. So let's start with photo filters. So we're back here in Photos, and I've got a nice photo here of a flower. I'm going to go ahead and edit, and you notice in addition to the options here at the bottom of the screen, we have at the top left this extensions button. I'm going to click that, tap that rather, and you notice I have several extensions available, one from ViscoCam and one from Waterlog. So I'm going to select Waterlog, and now the Waterlog extension is able to run right here in the context of Photos to manipulate my photo, bring out their own UI, deliver this beautiful watercolor effect.
Oh my god.
It's right back inside of my photo album. That easy. And next, let's take a look at widgets. I'm going to just pull down Notification Center. I have my existing widgets here in my Today view. You notice in addition to my widgets, down at the bottom it says one new widget available because I've downloaded an app recently that contains the Notification Center widget. So I'm going to tap Edit. And you notice it's Sports Center. So I can tap the plus next to Sports Center, position it where I want among my widgets in my Today view, tap Done, and now I have information on my favorite sports teams right here inside the Notification Center. Now this works great on iPad as well. Let's take a look at iPad. So iPad, I'm going to bring down Notification Center, and you notice I have this interactive widget from eBay. So I'm bidding on a guitar, and apparently I'm being outbid. So I can now, right inside of the notification, take advantage of the interactivity of widgets. I can tap and bid, and just like this, I can submit a leading bid, all inside of Notification Center. Now to wrap it up, I want to show you extensions in Safari. I'm going to bring up Safari, use our great new tab view. So pages and I'd like to learn more about it. The text here is in Japanese, and I do not know how to read Japanese. Fortunately, I have a Bing translation extension, so I can just bring up my action sheet. You notice down here in the second row, Bing Translate. I'm going to tap on that, and Bing is able to translate this web page right in line. Look at that. Now, for our extensions grand finale, let's put that on my Pinterest board. You see Pinterest has an extension right here. I'm going to tap on that. And this is actually able to bring UI defined by Pinterest, where I can select my board, I can select my guitars board. Now, the Pinterest extension has access to the underlying web page. So let me slide through the different photos on the page. When I find the one I want to share, that's it. Tap, and I've pinned it. And that's a quick look at extensions in iOS. Now, there's one important kind of extension that I did fail to mention, and that's the ability to install system-wide third-party keyboards. So now, if you have a special keyboard you want to use, you can install those on iOS. And by default, those, of course, run inside of the most restrictive sandbox with no network access, because we want to make sure to protect your privacy. But if that keyboard requires, or you want to grant it ability, it can ask for access to the network to provide extended functionality. We put those controls in your hands. That's extensions in iOS 8. Next up, Touch ID. From the moment we introduced Touch ID, developers were excited about the potential. And there's no question why Touch ID has been extremely popular. People authenticating into their devices. If you look at passcode usage on iOS before Touch ID, it was less than half. On iPhone 5S, 83%. People love using Touch ID. And now, third-party apps can take advantage of Touch ID as well. So Touch ID protects logins and user data, and it works by unlocking keychain items. So it'll identify successful fingerprint matches, but it always keeps the fingerprint data itself completely protected inside of the secure enclave in the A7 processor. The fingerprint information is never exposed to third-party apps or the rest of the system, for that matter. It's very secure. That's Touch ID. And next, cameras. We're providing camera APIs for manual control of exposure, white balance, and focus. And we've enhanced the PhotoKit API with faster performance, the ability not just to read, but also to write to the photo library. And this is now your cloud photo library, and perform non-destructive edits. It's really great. Now, we talked about the great HealthKit API, but now we also have HomeKit. There are a lot of great home automation devices coming on the market these days, and they have companion apps, things like lights, door locks, webcams, garage doors, and thermostats. But each of them have their own application, and they end up defining their own network protocol, their own security mechanisms. Well, we thought we could bring some rationality to this space. We started working with the leaders in home automation devices, and we've come up with HomeKit, with a common network protocol that has secure pairing to ensure that only your iPhone can open your garage door or unlock your door. And in addition to being able to control individual devices in your home, with HomeKit you can group devices and changes into scenes, and then with Siri integration you can say something like, "Get ready for bed," and be assured that your garage door is closed, your door is locked, the thermostat is lowered, and your lights are dimmed. That's HomeKit. Next, CloudKit. So today, if you're a developer and you're writing an application and it needs a web component, we end up really having to write two apps in one. In addition to writing the client side using Xcode and our frameworks, you have to write the server side of the app. You have to write server-side app logic. You have to deal with authentication, asset storage, database storage, search, even push notifications, and then you got to pay somebody to host it all. Well, now with CloudKit, CloudKit takes over the cloud part and provides you with a client-side programming model that lets you access iCloud authentication, storage, search, and more. And when it comes to paying, CloudKit is effectively free with limits. So CloudKit scales the data allocated to your app and bandwidth based on the number of users using your app. And this goes all the way up to granting you free a petabyte of assets, 10 terabyte of database, and all the bandwidth you could constructively use. That is CloudKit. Next, I want to move on to something huge in the area of 3D graphics, and it's called metal. So, as you know, OpenGL is the standards-based way for high-performance 3D graphics on iOS, giving you access to the power of the A7 processor. But increasingly, if you look at what goes on in the performance of the game, in addition to what the game wants to accomplish, OpenGL ends up being a thick layer of overhead between the game and the hardware. Well, now we have Metal, and Metal dramatically reduces that overhead, giving the game near bare-to-the-metal access to the power of A7. The results are stunning, up to 10x faster draw call rates. Now, in addition to these dramatically reduced overheads, you get access not just to graphics, but to the compute power of the GPU. And Metal supports pre-compiled shaders and efficient multi-threading, so you can always get the most out of the processor. Now, we've been working with the leading providers of gaming engines on mobile platforms. And what they've been able to accomplish with Metal in just a few weeks is truly stunning. Let's start with EA and the work they've done taking their console-level title, Plants vs. Zombies, and bringing it to iOS. They're able to put over 1.3 million triangles on the screen at a time and do depth of motion effects, depth of field effects they could never imagine achieving. In fact, they're using their Frostbite console engine that they thought could never come to mobile, and now it can. And let's look at Crytek. Crytek was able to bring their console-level Geom cache to iOS, and they're able to get up to 4,000 draw calls per frame going here. This is up to 10x the kind of performance they were seeing previously. Now, to show you live what can be done with Metal, I'd like to bring up the founder of Epic Games to the stage, Tim Sweeney. Tim, come on up.
We've had the opportunity to work with Metal and to illustrate some of the possibilities we created in Zen environment. This environment was built in Unreal Engine 4 on a high-end Mac, and now thanks to Metal, we're running it on iPad in real time with full fidelity and performance. Metal's efficiency enables an order of magnitude increase in detail, making it possible for developers like us to create a new generation of vivid and interactive 3D experiences. Now, Josh Adams is the programmer who wrote much of the code that's running. Josh, can you explain what we're seeing here?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks to Metal's support with pre-compiled shaders, we can have a huge variety of materials without a load time impact. And first up, let's check out this cherry tree. So I can drag on the screen to paint the petals onto the tree and start falling to the ground. There are about 5,000 petals here being physically simulated, and I can interact with them by touching on the screen and blow wind through the area. All right, next up, we have a koi pond filled with hundreds of fish. Metal's freed up enough CPU time. We can have each of them running their own artificial intelligence, which you can see here as I drag around the water. There's a few more fish here than a real koi pond, but since Metal is still figured one out. And of course, every Zen garden needs some sands to rake. So we go over here. I can rake any pattern I want into the sand here. Now, artists love that you can make an effect like this without needing a programmer like me to make a one-off effect for drop reduction or other optimizations. And for our final moment then, we'll walk over to this water fountain. Now I can tap on it, pour out some water, which then turns to a couple hundred butterflies. But of course, not going to stop there, so I can touch the screen to call more of them to me and guide them around the area. So there are about 3,500 individually animated and rendered butterfly meshes here. I have to keep telling the artists to turn the numbers up and up because they did not think it was going to be possible. Pretty cool, huh?
واحد ساعتين جرافيك ميتال جديدة والجرافيك بتاعها عالي جدا.
There are thousands of objects being rendered here in a scene that we couldn't have dreamed of building prior to Metal delivering a tenfold increase in rendering efficiency. To have this level of graphics capability on iPhone and iPad now is a stunning breakthrough. We're proud to have been a part of it, and of course we'd love to share this with you. So as soon as iOS 8 is available, we will be making the Zen Garden available in the App Store for free. Thank you.
It's amazing, and it's easy to forget. On an iPad, it's incredible graphics they were able to achieve, and I think we're all very Zen now. So that's Metal. Now I want to move from high-end 3D gaming to casual gaming and Sprite Kit. We introduced Sprite Kit last year at WWDC, and it's been a big hit with people building casual games on the App Store. And now this year, we've enhanced Sprite Kit with some things that make your casual games just that much more fun. We have support for light sources, field forces, per pixel physics that actually allow your objects to automatically interact with proper physics based on their drawn shapes, and even inverse kinematics. Now, also this year, for the first time on iOS, we're bringing Scene Kit. Scene Kit is a 3D scene renderer, and now it's been enhanced its design for casual games with an integrated physics engine, particle systems, and support for scripted actions. So these are two great solutions for casual games on iOS. Next, Xcode. Now, Xcode is the tool set we use to build all applications for the Mac and iOS. And Xcode is, in fact, one of the most popular pro apps on our platform. The last version was downloaded 14 million times. It's unbelievable. Now, of course, central to Xcode is the language we use to develop our apps, Objective-C. Now, Objective-C has served us so well for 20 years. We absolutely love it. But we had to ask ourselves the question, what would it be like if we had Objective-C without the baggage of C? We did more than think about it. We have a new programming language. The language is called Swift, and it totally rules. Swift is fast, it is modern, it is designed for safety, and it enables a level of interactivity and development that you've never seen on the platform. When it comes to speed, Swift is great. Compare Python, a popular scripting language, with Objective-C when it comes to something like, let's say, complex object store. Objective-C is a lot faster, but Swift is faster still. And take something like RC4 encryption, extremely computationally intensive. Python gets utterly crushed in this particular benchmark. But look at Swift. Now, Swift is also modern, with features like closures, generics, time inference, multiple return types, and namespaces. You know how many people at home are going, what the heck are these guys talking about? With Swift, you're able to reduce a common pattern that you might see in your Objective-C code like this, and reduce it to something as simple as this. And Swift defines away large classes of common programming errors that just aren't possible. Now, Swift is completely native to Cocoa and Cocoa Touch. It's built with the same LLVM compiler as Objective-C, using the same optimizer and auto-vectorizer, and it has the same ARC memory management model and the same runtime, which means that your Swift code can fit right alongside your Objective-C and your C code in the same application. Now, Swift also enables a level of dynamism and interactivity in development that we've never seen before, with a feature we call Playgrounds. To demonstrate Swift and Playgrounds in action, I'd like to bring to the stage Chris Latner. Come on up, Chris.
Thank you, Craig. I am thrilled to be here and to be the first person to give you a taste of Swift. Let me show you how fun and interactive it is to write Swift code. This is a Swift playground. As I start typing, I get an immediate response. It is actually running my code as I type it and displaying the result in the sidebar to the right. Of course, Swift uses type inference and has powerful string processing capabilities, which make it as easy to use as a scripting language without sacrificing any performance. Swift was designed from the ground up for Cocoa and Cocoa Touch, so of course, I have their full power at my fingertips. Now, I can build anything with Swift, from a social media application all the way up to a high-performance 3D game using Metal. But today, to keep it simple, I think I'll write a simple, casual 2D game. Let's start by using NSImage. Let's start by using NSImage to load a resource. As you can see here, I've the playground sees I've loaded an image, and you can see it right here within Xcode. Now, Swift is loaded with high-end features like generics that allow me to get a lot done with very little code. Here you can see I'm using an array of strings and using the functional map algorithm to apply closure to every element, which allows me to load an entire list of images all with a simple line of code. Now, all these resources are part of this game that I'm working on, and one piece I still need to finish up is the flight path for the blimp that we have. Now, this is a simple loop that computes the position for the blimp over time as my game plays. And in addition to seeing individual values, Swift Playgrounds even allow me to visualize the entire history of a value over time as my application runs. And so now I can immediately see that this equation will cause my blimp to slowly sink as the scene gets up. But I think I can do better. That's not exactly what I'm looking for. So I can change the code. I get an immediate response. Simply by changing the equation, the blimp will now rise and fall as the scene plays out, which is a lot more. So now that we have this the way we want, we can take this and copy it. Let's go to the game that I'm working. Now this is a playground just like before, but here I have a game in the code written using SpriteKit. Now you can see our blimp going left and right straight across the scene. I can try out the flight path that we just developed simply by pasting it in and getting the immediate feedback I'm looking for. Now the blimp is rising and falling just like I wanted. Because Swift enables such powerful, interactive, and dynamic programming experiences, it makes it really easy to try out new things. Just by adding a few lines of code, I can enable sprite kits, per pixel collisions, field forces, and lighting effects, getting a much more interesting result. Now, Swift Playgrounds even give you full power over time. With this timeline at the bottom of the screen, I can go forwards and backwards through the execution of my game, so I can really see those effects in action. You can see the balloons interacting with each other and with the blimp, just like that. Playgrounds give me unprecedented power to see my app in detail and give me full control when I want to refine and polish my application. But of course, Swift works great with Xcode and runs great on iOS. So let's now jump and see what the finished product looks like. So here we go. And this is the game that we just built. It looks pretty great. Now, as Craig told you earlier, we've also brought SceneKit to iOS. With SceneKit, it's super easy to build a 3D version of our game. And that's just a quick taste and quick look at Swift. I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. Thank you very much.
So that's Swift. Gives you access to all of Cocoa and Cocoa Touch. So you can build everything from a simple example, like you saw there, Chris, to the most powerful applications you can imagine. And Swift is going to be ready for prime time out of the gates. It comes with complete Xcode support, indexing, code completion, and debugging. And there's a Swift language guide available to you now in iBooks, along with complete reference documentation. And when iOS and OS 10 are available, day one, you can submit apps written in Swift to the App Store. That is Swift. So as you've been able to see, iOS 8 is a huge developer release and a great end user release with features like the new Quick Type keyboard, tap to talk in messages, help, and great new photos with an iCloud photo library. But it's also an unprecedented developer release with technology like extensions, Metal, and Swift. That's iOS 8. It's going to be available to those of you here in beta today. And you guessed it, available to everyone else in the fall, and it'll run on all of these devices. That is iOS 8. Thank you. Good job.
An incredible set of features, an incredible release. It's been a fun morning. You can probably see that from us. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Thank you. This morning you've seen Yosemite OS 10 with an incredible new design, amazing new features, and engineered to work seamlessly with iOS. You've seen iOS 8, the biggest release of iOS since the introduction of the App Store. It's huge for developers and massive for everyone else. Perhaps more importantly, you've seen how our operating systems, devices, and services all work together in harmony. Together, they provide an integrated and continuous experience across all of our products. And you've seen how developers can extend variants further than they've ever done before, and how they can create powerful apps even faster and more easily than they've ever been able to. Apple engineers platforms, devices, and services together. We do this so we can create a seamless experience for our users that is unparalleled in the industry. This is something only Apple can do. You've seen a few people on stage this morning, but there are thousands of people. And I'd like to take a moment before we depart and recognize them. Would everyone from Apple stand up that has something to do with making today possible? Stand up, don't be bashful. Thank you. And there's thousands more back in Cupertino who are watching. I want to thank them too, and from all over the world. It's the privilege of a lifetime for me to work with all of these incredible people. I hope everyone has a huge conference. Enjoy the week. Thank you very much.
مؤتمر أبل WWDC سنة 2014. أبل وورلد وايد ديفلوبرز. كان معانا المؤتمر بث مباشر من داخل أبل تي في، والبث ده ما كانش تبع والبث ده ما كانش تبعنا احنا، ده كان نقلا عن شركة أبل عن طريق الأبل تي في. عملنا البث ده لأن أبل سامحة بس مستخدمين أجهزة كالماك وأجهزة iOS والأبل تي في بس إن هم يتفرجوا عليها، لذلك إحنا عملنا نقل البث من خلال الأبل تي في عن طريق هانج أوت جوجل بلس. أتمنى يكون المؤتمر عجبكم، ودلوقتي إن شاء الله هنعمل لكم ملخص لجميع المميزات اللي نزلت في الماك، سواء في الماك أو في iOS 8. كان معاكم محمد من إيجتك. استنونا أستاذ محمد. أستاذ محمد،
في مشكلة في النت بس اتحلت خلاص.
الحمد لله. حضرتك دلوقتي كان ايه رأيك في مؤتمر ابل؟ ايه رأيك في المميزات والاضرار يعني ايه رأيك في مميزات اي اس 8 الجديدة وفي الماك؟ ايه رأي حضرتك في المميزات بتاعتهم؟
هي الصراحة مميزات رائعة جدا، أقل وصف ليها إن هي رائعة جدا.
طبعا حضرتك فعلا، لان هي فعلا ما كانتش ليها مثيل فعلا. جميع الخواص والمميزات بتاعت الاي اس 8 الجديدة بصراحة يعني كانت مهمة وأبهرتنا بصراحة. بينت إن أبل مش مجرد لعبة يتلعب بيها، وإن أبل قدرت تكسب ثقة مستخدميها من جديد. دلوقتي معنا دلوقتي ملخص للمؤتمر ورأي بعض الناس.
وكان في برضو بعض التوقعات اللي هي اتعملت فعلا، اللي هي تحديث للماك، وكمان في نظام
لا هو للاسف الماك متحدث، لا هو معلش هو الماك متحدث للاسف. مستخدمين الماك زعلوا بصراحه لان ابل ما حدثش الماك. بس ابل حدثت الماك مره واحده بس في WWDC، في WWDC سنه 2013 حدثت بس الماك. قبل كده كانت ابل، هو تقريبا كان ابل قبل كده بتحدث الماك لكن لا احنا دلوقتي معانا دلوقتي فيديو توضيحي لتاريخ مؤتمر ابل لسنه
هو انا اعتقد ده بس
لجميع من سنه
الابديت
2007
اتعمل
حتى ثانية بس بعد إذن حضرتك. في مؤتمر أبل للمطورين سنة 2007 أعلنوا عن الآيفون الأول وتصفح سفاير الزروق للويندوز وللآيفون. حضر هذا المؤتمر أكثر من 5000 مطور من جميع أنحاء العالم. في مؤتمر أبل للمطورين سنة 2008 إصدار الثاني آيفون 3G أصدر فيه لأول مرة متجر برامج أب ستور. أصدر أيضا ماك أوس إكس فيرجن 10.6. ظهرت لأول ماك بوك إير. وفي المؤتمر ده أعلنوا عن نقل التذاكر لأول مرة. في مؤتمر أبل للمطورين سنة 2009 أعلنوا فيه عن الآيفون 3 إصدار نظام التشغيل آيفون OS 3 جديد. أعلنوا عن الماك أوس إكس فيرجن 10.6. ولأول مرة غاب ستيف المؤتمر ده بسبب مؤتمر أبل للمطورين لسنة 2010. أصدر في هذا المؤتمر آيفون 4. تم تغيير اسم آيفون أو إس لآي. إطلاق ميزة الفيس تايم. إطلاق برنامج آي موفي. أما الهاتف الآيفون 4 A4 بروسيسور الخاص بأبل. في مؤتمر سنة 2011 أصدر في iOS 5 اللي كان بيضم ميزة الآي مثلا وميزة الآي كلاود، وأيضا ضم نوتيفيكيشن سنتر. OS X لاين فيرجن 10.7. عدد الحضور كان 5000 مطور. سعر التذكرة الرسمية كانت $1600، وسعر التذكرة في السوق السوداء كانت 3000. في مؤتمر أبل للمطورين لسنة 2012 نفذ التذاكر كلها في ساعة واحدة بس. أصدر في iOS 6 اللي ضم أبل مابس والعن خرائط جوجل، وتم عمل أبديت لسيري، وضم النظام دوت فيسبوك وتويتر. وأصدر في OS X 8 ودمج فيه خواص iOS في الماك. وأصدر فيه الماك بوك ريتنا. في مؤتمر أبل للمطورين لسنة 2013 تذاكر في أقل من دقيقة. أصدر فيه نظام iOS 7 اللي ضم إعادة تصميم نظام التشغيل من الصفر، وضم ميزة الكنترول سنتر ميزة الإير دروب. أصدر فيه نظام التشغيل ماك أوس إكس مافريكس 10.9. إمكانية استخدام مجموعة آي وورك على الإنترنت. ده كان ملخص مؤتمر أبل المطورين تاريخ WWDC زي ما احنا قلنا من سنة 2007 لحد سنة 2013. أبل أنجزت إنجازات كتيرة في WWDC، وده اللي احنا هنستعرضه عليكم دلوقتي. هنستعرض ملخص المؤتمر. أهو مختار زي ما هو قدامكم اهوت. ادي ده ملخص مؤتمر ابل للمطورين. بدأ المؤتمر بعرض فيديو توضيحي. كانوا بيبينوا فيه أهمية الآيفون، والآيفون قد إيه ساعد الناس في حياتهم. وبعد كده اهوت تيم كوك كان على المسرح، وتيم بدأ يتكلم عن إنجازات المطورين، وقال هناك 8 ملايين مطور مسجلين لدى أبل. تمام، وده طبعا عدد كبير جدا، 8 ملايين مطورين مسجلين لدى أبل. وبعد كده هوت في نظام OS X وأجهزة الماك. في 40 مليون نسخة من نظام الماك معمول لها انستول. النظام دي نسبة كبيرة جدا، 40 مليون نسخة من الماك، نسبة كبيرة جدا طبعا. وبعد كده كريج الآن على المسرح، وبدأ يمزح بشأن تسمية النظام الجديد واسم النظام الجديد لنظام اسم جديد نظام الماك اسمه يوس مات. وبعد كده بدأ يعرض فيديو عن الماك. نظام الماك ضم تصميم جديد كليا. بص محمد، استاذ محمد.
ايوه.
الو.
ايوه.
استاذ محمد، حضرتك معايا؟ ايه رأي حضرتك في ايقونات النظام الجديد للماك؟ ايه رأي حضرتك فيه؟
هي كويسة جدا، لأن التغيير دوت كان حلو جدا، رائع.
تمام، سامع حضرتك كويس. طبعا هو التصميم بصراحة عجبني. ايقونات ومستوحاة من iOS 7. زي ما هو قدام حضراتكم اهوت. انت شفت الايقونات بتاعت iOS 7؟ ده شفت الايقونات بتاعت iOS 7، قصدي سوري، بتاعت الماك يوسمات.
في مشكلة
في مشكلة.
الكاميرا مش عارف عمالة بتتغير، أو سكرين شوتس جوه بعضها.
لا، ما حضرتك دلوقتي باين دلوقتي صح نظام الماك الجديد تمام. دي مش مشكلة، أنا قاصد إن أنا أعرض إن شكل نظام اليوسنت شكله مستوحى تماما من iOS 7 تمام.
لا،
تصميم.
كان في سكرين شوتس
لا ده عادي، ده عادي. الفايندر اختلف في اليوسمات، اختلف تماما، مستوحى طبعا كله من iOS 7. واخدين البلور، واخدين التصميم حتى اللي من فوق، واخدين من iOS 7 الشفاف. بصراحة يعني هو تصميم ممتاز. تصميم تماما يعني ما في يعني نظام البحث الجديد في الماك شكله كده اهوت، شكله حلو بصراحة. دلوقتي نظام تطبيق ابلكيشن للرسائل الجديد تمام. وكمان الكونتاكت الشكل بتاعه جديد، كله مستوحى من نظام iOS 7. هنا كان بيتحدث عن ميزه السبوت لايت في الماك اللي انت بتخليك تعمل سيرش، بياخدها من كذا مكان. ممكن يجيبها من ويكيبيديا، بيعمل سيرش جوه ايتونز، بيعمل سيرش للافلام والاغاني والالبومز. يعني السيرش بصراحه مفيد جدا. وفي نظام جديد بيوضع كلاود درايف، اي كلاود درايف. بعد كده تطبيق للايميل جديد، وتطبيق سفاري. متصفح سفاري اسرع من كروم والفايرفوكس في فتح في الفتح اسرع منه 9.7، انما انما كروم 2.4، والفايرفوكس 1. ده مع ان السفاري بقى بيفتح بسرعه كبيره جدا. والتابس، نظام التابس الجديد في سفاري شكله طبعا مختلف. وميزه بتاع مارك اب اللي بتخليك تقدر تعمل سيرش، وكمان قصدي سوري تقدر تعمل زوم، ويقدر عن طريق رسم صبعك على الماوس يقدر يفهم هل انت قصدك سهم، ولا انت قصدك دايره، ولا انت قصدك اللي تسمى سبيش ماركس، اللي هي الفقاعه الكلاميه زي ديت كده اهوت. وبعد كده ميزه الهاند اوف اللي بتمكن من ارسال الملفات بين الماك والاي اس بسرعه كبيره. بعد كده بداوا يحدثوا عن الاي مسج، ان دلوقتي ممكن تقبل مكالمات او رفضها من الماك. يعني انا بتكلم دلوقتي من جوه الايفون عندي، بتكلم دلوقتي من جوه الايفون، بتكلم دلوقتي من جوه الايفون عادي جدا. جات لي مكالمه اقدر اعمل لها اكسبت، واقدر اقدر اعمل لها اكسبت من جوه الماك عن طريق الاي كلاود طبعا. واتصل بالدكتور دير يعني احدهم في ابل. وكده نظام الماك يثبت هيتوفر ان شاء الله النهارده للماك. بعد كده اهوت ان النظام هيتوفر بشكل مجاني تماما. معلش في مشكله بس في دلوقتي في الصوره في مشكله بس كمان معلش. أظن طبعا ميزة الماك كبيرة أساسا
طبعا.
من الاي اس 97% من نظام 97% من مستخدمين نظام اي اس 7. بعد كده عملوا مقارنة ما بينه وما بين الاندرويد. طبعا بلا منازع الاي اس كسب الاندرويد. رأي حضرتك ايه يا استاذ محمد مع ان طبعا اندرويد يعني؟ رأي حضرتك ايه بالنسبة ان 97% من مستخدمين الاي او اس مستخدمين الاي اس 97% منهم حدثوا الاحدث نسخة اللي هي اي اس 7 بالمقابل 14% بس حدثوا الكيت كات من مستخدمين الاندرويد. ايه تعليقك على كده؟
هو اصلا الاندرويد كيت كات ما نزلش لمعظم الاجهزه عشان كل المستخدمين يعملوا له ابجريد، هو بس ممكن نزل النوت.
لا بس ده بيبين كده ده اندرويد ان نادرا جدا لما تلاقي جهاز نزل له الكيت كات، نادرا يعني. انا حتى دلوقتي نزل له الكيت كات، الاس 4 نزل له كيت كات عشان هو جديد بس الكيت كات لحد دلوقتي لسه نزل بس الكيت كات لحد دلوقتي نزل ما نزلش الاس 3 مثلا. الاس 3 مع ان هو رمته عاليه وكل
هو بالنسبه للاس 3 الكيت كات نزل، نظام كيت كات نزل لشركه سبرينت، نزل للتليفونات.
ما انا عارف، لكن ما هو بعد كده سامسونج قالت ان هي مش هينزل خلاص للورلد وايد للنسخه العاديه. يعني هو نزل بس لنسخه سبرينت بس، لكن ما نزلش النسخه العاديه بتاعت المستخدمين. بعد كده اهوت بس ماشي نكمل. بعد كده نظام الاي اس 8 تقدر ترد عن التنبيهات النوتيفيكيشن. وكمان في تطبيق جديد لسفاري للموبايلات. نزل ابلكيشن جديد للايباد. وبعد كده عملوا تجربه للاي اس 8 تطبيق ميل برضو جديد للايباد. ودلوقتي ممكن تتصل من اي شخص عن طريق المالتي تاسكينج. والحديث عن خاصيه البحث طوروها بشكل كبير جدا زي الماك. البحث السبلايت بقت برضو نفس موضوع الماك. بعد كده بدأوا يتكلموا عن كويك تايب. الكويك تايب بتعرض لك اختصارات الكلمات كما في الاندرويد. اعتقد هنا بقى ابل هنا بدأت الاندرويد، بس فعلا انا كمستخدم كنت محتاج الميزه دي، مع انها ما نزلتش حتى لحد دلوقتي باللغه العربيه، بس نزلت الانجليش وانا بحتاجها بصراحه يعني. طبعا بتحتاج ميزه ميزه كويك تايب، تمام، اللي هي بتعرض لك الكلمات. هو بيبدا يحلل الكلام. ابل بقى حدثت الموضوع شويه، بيبدا هو يشوف مثلا لو احنا مثلا بنتكلم مثلا دلوقتي على برنامج بكلمك دلوقتي مثلا ببعت لك مسج، تمام يا استاذ محمد؟ فببدا معلش المسجز، فببدا ببص بيبدا هو يقرا الكلام كلمه كلمه. فبيساله انت ايه انت مثلا اقول لك مثلا انت ايه رايك ننزل النهارده بالليل؟ اروح اقول لك وتقول لي ننزل فين؟ اقول لك ماشي ننزل. فيروح هو مقترح بقى اماكن ننزل فيها فعلا، يقول لك سينما مثلا او ريستورانت كده هكذا. فالموضوع ده طبعا متقدم جدا، دي تكنولوجيا يعني هو بيفهم. يعني بتساعد بصراحه، هتساعدنا جدا. وكمان تيك توك بتتيح لك انك انت تسجل الصوت وتبعته زي بالظبط موجود جوه الفيسبوك ماسنجر. وتطبيق المسجز في العديد من الخواص، انك انت ممكن مثلا لو في حد اللي لو احنا مثلا اتنين بيكلموا بعض تمام، ممكن نعمل شير لللوكيشن بتاعنا عن طريق الاي مسج. ممكن كمان ممكن كمان اللي انا لو احنا مثلا نتكلم مثلا في جروب جماعيه، مثلا يعني ناس كتير قاعدين يتكلموا ورا بعض ورا بعض ورا بعض، فانا ما اخلي وكل شويه التليفون قاعد يعمل فايبريشن فايبريشن، وانا بقعد اتخانق من الحكايه دي بصراحه. كل الناس بيتخانقوا لما يكون فيها ناس كتير وكله
طبعا.
بيتكلم في نفس الوقت، بيتكلم في نفس الوقت، وتلاقي التليفون قاعد يعمل فايبريشن فايبريشن، الواحد بصراحه بيتخانق فعلا.
مم.
وتحدثوا عن تطبيق الهيلث اللي هم معظم اللي هم توقعوه، تطبيق الهيلث، وكان شبيه جدا بالتسريبات اللي اتسربت، هي مش شبهها بالظبط بس كانت شبيهه جدا. وميزه جديده في الاب ستور ان تمنع الاطفال من تحميل التطبيقات الا مفوات الاكل، يعني الاهل. يعني مثلا انا مثلا عايز مثلا احمل مثلا لعبه مثلا ب 2 دولار او 3 دولار، عشان ابدا اعملها داونلود، يروح مثلا التليفون بتاع الاب تمام بتاع البيرنتس، يروح هو يقول له ابنك كذا عايز يشتري الابلكيشن ده، لو تك دي 3 دولار او 2 دولار، لو تك لا مش بيحمل الابلكيشن تمام. ميزي طبعا يعني بتساعد. وتطبيق الصور اللي هو السمارت ايديتنج، زودوا السمارت ايديتنج، يعني حطوا زي ما تقول كده بالظبط مميزة الاي فوتو، قريب من مميزة الاي فوتو جوه البرنامج بتاع الفوتوز، فده طبعا هيساعد المستخدمين. الاي اس 8 بجميع مميزاته هينزل، نازل النهارده على ما اعتقد، هو هينزل كمان كام ساعة، ممكن يكون نزل دلوقتي. الاي اس 8 نزل للمطورين لو حد عايز يحمله، ان شاء الله يكون عجبكم البث المباشر تمام. كان معاكم بث مباشر لمؤتمر ابل على استاذ محمد. استاذ محمد،
نعم.
ايه رأي حضرتك في في التحديثات اللي ابل عملتها؟
على فكرة هو السؤال دوت اتكرر.
ماشي والله الواحد والله اصل الابل تي في ماشي، مش موضوعنا مش موضوعنا. اللي بالنسبه للماك، مميزات الماك الجديده زي السيرش وكده، انت كمستخدم للماك ايه هو يعني هتساعدك فعلا ولا لا، ولا مش هتساعدك، ولا هي يعني مميزات كلام فاضي ولا لا؟
هي تساعد جدا بس أنا مش مستخدم للماك.
تمام معلش. المهم اكتر من 1.2 اكتر من 1.2 مليون ابلكيشن متوفر في الاب ستور، طبعا ابلكيشنز بالهبل جوه الاب ستور بالنسبه للايفون تمام. استاذ محمد
اه
تمام. كمان اللي بالنسبه للمستخدمين العاديين كل ده هيكون متوفر في الخريف القادم ان شاء الله. الويدجتس بقى، الويدجتس بقى لكل الناس كانوا مستنيها من زمان، تم اضافتها لنفذ الاشعارات. الويدجتس اظن كمستخدم اندرويد الناس كانوا يعني الناس كانوا بينتقدوا ابل، يقولوا لها لا انتوا ما عندكمش ويدجتس، انتوا فيكم عيوب. لكن الويدجتس يعني مش ميزه عاليه قوي زي ما الناس بيعتقدوا. الويدجتس فعلا هي حلوه كتفاعليه كالويندوز 8 والاندرويد بس ابل المره دي اضافتها في النوتيفيكيشن سنتر، لان ابل مش عايزه تغير في تصميم الايفون تصميمه البسيط عمره ما هيتغير، لان ابل واثقه ان مستخدمين ابل اللي معاها دلوقتي بيحبوا النظام زي ما هو، مش بيحبوا تغيير النظام في بساطته افضل ما يقعد يزودوا بقى حاجات بقى، يزودوا ويدجتس كتير بقى او حاجه كده. لكن النظام كل ما يكون بسيط اكتر كل ما يكون دلوقتي. اسيب الميكروفون استاذ محمد. استاذ محمد
نعم. الو.
الو، ايوه مع حضرتك. الو. كان عجب حضرتك البث المباشر، تمام؟
مم.
آه، كنا عايزين
هو
نسأل
في
حضرتك بس.
نعم.
اي سامع حضرتك، سامع حضرتك، اي سامع حضرتك، أي.
كان في ميزة كويسة جدا اللي هي لغة سويفت.
ايوه 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 فعلا، ايوه.
ديت كانت لغة أحسن بكتير، أو مش بكتير قوي يعني، من الأوبجكت سي والبايثون.
ايوه، لغه السويفت الجديده اللي هيستخدموها بدل الاوبجكت سي
اه.
اسهل في الاستخدام. انا حتى كطفل صغير الاوبجكت سي لما بدات استخدمها آه، كانت صعبه عليا لما بدات اتعلمها، لكن السويفت انا لما شفت التعامل بتاعها لقيت بتاعه اسهل بكتير جدا من التعامل العادي.
مم. وكمان
ولغه
مم.
ولغه
وكمان
السويفت
خاصية
افضل من
ميتا
الاوبجكت
كانت.
سي والبيسون وال 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 وكمان ما ننساش طبعا الميتال اللي هو بالمعالج A7
اللي هي خاصية
اللي بيدي.
ميتال هتكون رهيبة
ايوه،
جدا، اللي هي تعطي الألعاب جرافيكس وسرعة هايلة.
يعني سرعة عالية بصراحة جدا. يعني لو انت كنت عارف كنت معانا في المؤتمر شفت الجرافيك كان ازاي تحفة. وكمان
مم.
ميزة الهوم كيت زي ما هم كانوا كلهم متخيلين ميزة الاي هوم اللي ظهرت باسم هوم كيت، ان انت تقدر تطفي وتولع الانوار، تفتح الباب بتاع البيت عن طريق كل ده، عن طريق ال- التليفون المحمول. وبتدعم سيري ايضا، يعني ممكن اقول له مثلا سيري ولعي النور، turn on the light، تروح مولعه النور. يعني ميزة
في
حلوة.
حاجة، هي
تمام
ديت
مع حضرتك.
زي ما هي ميزة متطورة وخاصية متطورة، محتاجة برضو أجهزة متطورة.
تمام
يعني
حضرتك.
مثلا
ما هو تقريبا الهوم كيت بتستخدم البصمه بتاعت اصبعك عشان تفتح الباب او حاجه زي كده. يعني انا مش متاكد بالظبط يعني من الموضوع، لسه ابل ما اشتريتش قوي بالموضوع، لكن هيبدا يظهر ويبان كل مميزات الاي او اس 8 لما ينزل ان شاء الله في الخريف، ينزل لجميع المستخدمين. ابل هتبين بقى كل المميزات بتاعته، وان شاء الله المميزات كلها تعجبكم باذن الله، باذن الله.
وكمان خاصية الكتابة الجديدة كانت حلوة.
ايوه، خصوص الكتابة الجديدة اللي هي تسمى كيبوردز، اللي هي معلش آه، نسيت الاسم بصراحة بتاعها. آه،
وكمان
خالص. ان هو تم تحميل 75، ايه ده، تم تحميل 75 مليار تطبيق من الاب ستور الى حتى الان. قصدي 75 مليون. لا، في حاجة غلط في الارقام بصراحة. واضافه طبعا مميزات رائعه للاب ستور. المميزات بصراحه ساعدتنا جدا وريحتنا.
مم.
استاذ محمد،
نعم.
بالنسبه كمان ل حتى الان انت كمستخدم، يعني كمستخدم محايد، تفضل انهي اكتر، مميزات الاي اس 8 ولا مميزات الاندرويد كيت كات؟
هو حاليا iOS 8.
بصراحه انا مميزاتها بصراحه يعني ممتازه جدا. طبعا ده كان بس مباشر لمؤتمر ابل، ده كان ملخص مؤتمر. شكرا جدا لكل اللي تابعونا، كل اللي عملونا. يا ريت اللي بيتابعونا دلوقتي يعملونا لايك، سبسكرايب، ويساعدونا بفولو، ويزوروا موقع
www.
معلش ثانية بس معلش. آه،
يعني
يا ريت
بالظبط
يتابعونا.
كده.
كل المستخدمين يتابعونا ايزي تك. ما ننساش طبعا اللي كانوا معانا دلوقتي هم محمد نادي، ات اي محمد برو على تويتر، واستاذ محمد حسن.
على
معكم.
تويتر على
أيوة على
تويتر
تويتر.
مومو حسن.
حسن. طيب على تويتر أستاذ محمد على تويتر
مم.
مو حسن. تمام.
لا يا @momo_spy.
اوكي حضرتك @momo_spy. تمام. كان معانا ده البث المباشر لمؤتمر ابل باي محمد نجدي ومحمد حسن @محمد محمد بلو @momo_spy. ما تنسوش تزوروا موقعنا easytech2013.blogspot.com. easytech all about tech and WWDC 2014 Apple Worldwide Developers Congress. لا تم استعراض في iOS 8 والاو اس اكس الجديد. حضرتك عايز تقول اي كلمة قبل ما نقفل ان شاء الله يا استاذ محمد؟
نعم.
حضرتك عايز تقول اي كلمة قبل ما نقفل ان شاء الله؟
لا كده.
ماشي. كان معاكم محمد نجدي من ايجتك ومحمد حسن. نشوفكم ان شاء الله المرة الجاية على خير.
برضه من ايش